it says first to use a combination of rules for exponents to simplify the expression to exponential form with only positive exponents. So in other words, simplify it by getting rid of the parentheses, and if there are any constants raised to an exponent, like 3 raised to the 4th power, for example, just evaluate that. But which rules for exponents shall we use? Well, the two most important ones that we'll use are, the first one is if you have an exponent like x to the 3rd power, and you raise that to another exponent, so it's a power raised to a power, you evaluate that or simplify it by just multiplying the exponents. So you have x to the 5 times 3, x to the 15th power. So a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. The second property that we'll use, or the second rule, deals with negative exponents. So if you have x to the negative 3 divided by y to the negative 2, you can make a negative exponent positive as follows. If you have x to the negative 3 on the top of a fraction, you can just move it to the bottom and make it a positive 3. If you have a negative exponent in the denominator, you can move it to the top and make it positive. So in a sense, you just flip it. To make a negative exponent positive, you flip it. Now if you're not dealing with a fraction at all, suppose you had just x to the negative 3, that's not a fraction, but you can still put it in the denominator of a fraction to make it a positive exponent. Alright, so let's see how we would simplify this particular problem here. Alright, we've got all this stuff raised to the negative 4 power. Now, there's not an exponent here, but we understand there to be a 1 here, just like there's an exponent of 1 here. And it helps to recognize that because I've got 3 to the 1st power raised to the negative 4 power. So I'm going to multiply these exponents, which is going to give us 3 to the negative 4 power. I'm going to take x to the negative 2 to the negative 4 power. So negative 2 times a negative 4 is a positive 8. And y to the 1st raised to the negative 4 power. Again, multiply the exponents. Positive 1 times negative 4 gives us y to the negative 4. Alright, now we take the denominator. 2 to the negative 1 power to the negative 4 power. Well, multiply the exponents again. Negative 1 times negative 4 is going to give us 2 to the positive 4. Z to the 3rd power raised to the negative 4. So 3 times negative 4 gives us negative 12. Alright, now we just need to make our negative exponents positive. So anywhere I see a negative exponent, I'm going to flip it from the top to the bottom or bottom to the top as needed. So I've got 3 to the negative 4. Well, okay, that's going to go to the bottom as 3 to the 4th power. X to the 8th, well, that's already a positive exponent, so leave him where he is. Y to the negative 4. Well, I'm going to move him to the denominator because it's negative, so I'm going to move it to the bottom and make it a y to the 4th. Let's go to the denominator. 2 to the 4th. Well, I'm going to leave him right where he is because it's positive. Put little dots to indicate multiplication here. And z to the negative 12. Well, I'm going to make that z to the positive 12 because it's negative, so I'm going to move it to the top and make it positive. Well, I'm pretty much done, except I want to evaluate those constants. So on the top I've got x to the 8th, z to the 12th. On the bottom I've got 3 to the 4th, which is 81, times 2 to the 4th, which is 16, and then times y to the 4th. And then we can just finish it off by having x to the 8th times z to the 12th over, and here's where a calculator comes in very handy, 81 times 16 gives us 1296. So that's 1296 y to the 4th. And that's the answer, simplified with no negative exponents.